Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Guitar Effect. In this third installment about the HX effects, we're going to be taking a look at incorporating it as part of a pedal board. Specifically, in this case, a pedal board for home recording for me. So we're going to have a look at some sounds and how I have it set up in signal chain and stuff like that. But before we get into any of that, please like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be kept up to date with everything we're doing here at the Guitar Effect. So here's the pedal board that it's going to be featured on. So what I wanted to do was just to combine the power of the HX effects' time and modulation based effects that I could tweak with the editor beside me here as I go through tracks with its capability for amp switching and stuff like that, and add in my own gain pedals which I had on the pedal board previously as I was using with analog modulation and delay pedals for recording. And utilize its many varied delays and reverbs, and then set up pedal boards within the HX effects for the different projects I might have on. I found it to be pretty successful actually. I'm really liking how it's working in this context. So I'm going to show you some sounds now for this particular pedal board which I've set up within the HX effects, which is for my own band Kampala, which is an alternative rock band, a three-piece that is currently my main project. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just show you the signal chain on the board. So my guitar comes into the TC Electronic force field compressor here, and I generally leave it on and off. It sounds like this. I'm playing my Owen Luthery custom built jazz blaster. This is my main guitar for Kampala, my originals band. I'm home from the studio to get a string change and a setup, and interestingly actually this is a handcrafted piece of perfection. This is the most beautiful guitar I think anyone could ever own that plays alternative rock. It is literally perfect. I'll do a video about this, I'm not going to go into it now, but interestingly it's been sitting out in my studio out of its case for maybe 2 months with limited use, and this fret sprout is starting to happen at the ends because the neck must be contracting, which is really interesting. Anyway, no compressor. Compressor. The guitar, I'll just show you. The guitar has single coil, some humbucker, single coil, and then middle, humbucker, humbucker, single coil, and then neck, humbucker, and single coil. Okay, so there is the neck in single coil mode. Right, and then the neck in humbucker mode. Okay, so it comes into the compressor. This guitar by the way, is kind of dull. I have the bright switch on the amp and the strings are a little bit dead, but it is a big, heavy sounding guitar on the humbucker setting, which is where I generally tend to have it. So after the force field compressor, it goes across to the mini screamer here on the other side of the board. And the reason that I have the board split up like that is most of the switching I'll need to be doing when I'm using this rig is on the HXFX. So I wanted to have it closer to my right foot. So here is the compressor's on, here's the screamer, or here's without the screamer and with screamer. Back pickup, single coil. Sorry, back pickup. It's a complicated guitar. Back pickup, single coil. You can really hear that mid push thing. Then I have the Mosky Deluxe preamp also on here, and this is kind of to have the same sound as I have, but with a little bit of drive on the clean channel. So. And then it's a boost as well. So that combined with this foot switch over here, by the way, which is this foot switch for the amp. So at the moment I'm playing through the laney and I'm on the clean channel. If I hit this, go to the dirty channel. And it's worth mentioning I would generally always start with every dirty sound using an amp dirty channel. It is actually rigged up at the moment that I can use the cock also if I want, with the same setup, but I don't have it active tonight because I just want to go through the sounds. So the last pedal before we get into the HXFX is the fuzz, and because of where I have the light at the moment, it's a bit hard to reach, but turn off the compressor with this. Yeah, that's the single coil, the humbucker. I really love this fuzz. I think it's at home doing Velcro-y kind of, well, almost Velcro-y, but like stuttery sound. As it is doing big chord sounds. So. Great fuzz, and then it also has this switch to push it up into octafuzz. Great. So there are all the different flavors of overdrive. I mean, I could go to the dirty channel on the amp, on the humbucker. Sorry, my bad. Add the screamer. If I want the lead sound, the this and this mid boosted. Or if I just want the dirty channel but a little bit more, I can boost it. So generally I tend to keep the drive at a moderate setting on the amp because I generally tend to change the flavour with the overdrive pedals. As you'll notice, there's a Love Pedal Super Lead and a Joyo, or a Moon, in this case American sound, on the board as well. So I'm not going to be demoing them tonight because what they're there for is, should I want to run this rig direct, I will put the two of them into the effects loops on the HX Effects and turn on IORs with them and basically have a Marshall and Fender, two different like amp emulation pedals. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it, see how it sounds, and if it sounds good I'm going to make a video about it. But right now the effects loop on the Laney is going through the preamp on the Laney, I should say, is routed into HX Effects and is going through the American sound. I'm not going to turn it on because I haven't checked the settings or anything like that. but I'll make another video where they are in play as preamps into IORs running direct into my interface, or you could obviously run direct into a PA for live. So they are the different flavors of overdrive that I get with my recording board for Kampala. So then, as you can see, I have 6 effects set up in this patch, and if I go out of it, you can see it's called Kampala 01. It's literally the first Kampala patch I've made for recording stuff at home. I'll share Kampala's SoundCloud in the description below, so you can have a listen to what kind of music I'm using this for. But we are an alt rock band. We're like kind of like a cross between Depeche Mode and Soundgarden, I suppose. It's what we're going for, at least. So I have some different effects in here. The first thing you'll notice is this simple pitch. So if I hit that on, I just play an E minor chord on the clean channel on the amp. And I hit this on, I'm going for a 12-string sound. It's subtle, but it's there because we have this riff if I put on the glitz as well. It's the only thing I use that for, and should I want to emulate a 12-string, I probably have to bring the blend up a little bit. It's a little bit too subtle, but it's supposed to be pretty subtle. Right, so then the other modulation, well, that's not a modulation effect, it's a filter, but I have a tremolo on here. Really gorgeous atmospheric sound with that tremolo. Then the other things are, I have just a regular like phase 90 type sound. Then we get into the atmospheric stuff across the top, which is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. So starting with the Cosmos Echo. So this is a space echo. On my main pedal board, which I've done a video of for Kampala, the one I use in the studio for rehearsing, recording, and when we're playing big headline gigs, I bring it out. I have a TC Electronic Flashback X4, and on that I have 3 delays. I have a space echo emulation that's doing quarter notes. I have a Memory Man style emulation that's doing dotted 8 notes, and then I have one patch where they're combined with a, I think, digital delay with modulation where it's dotted 8s on one side and quarter notes on the other. So this is kind of emulating that, right? So they're both aligned to the top tempo, and here is the Cosmos Echo doing, and it's quite bright actually. So not bright, but it's still analog sounding, but it's not as kind of dull as Memory Man. Really like it actually. And then you have this Elephant Man, which is the modulated, basically a Memory Man's 12th delay. Really, 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 really good. If I combine that with the glitz, which is just the particular big reverb I've chosen. work really well. So they are the different effects I use for this particular band. I do have the glitz, I think. I only tried to set this up this evening, but I think I have it on the expression pedal, that if I have the expression pedal down low, it's at one setting. It just brings up the mix of the reverb zone. You can see the expression pedal, by the way. It's just off the camera. I couldn't fit it into the shot, but it's just a regular line 6 expression pedal. And obviously you can combine them with the overdrive sound. So, the other thing is, by the way, this foot switch. As I've shown in a lot of other videos, you can actually control the channel switching of any amplifier with the HX effects. I just didn't want to give up the foot switch in this patch where I had all the effects I needed, so I use this outboard foot switch to change channels. This turns on and off the onboard reverb on the amp, so I turn it on. It's really subtle. You can obviously combine them then. One thing I really like about that simple pitch actually is it is there. It's small. It's probably a bit too low in the mix, but it never gets in the way. You can hear it there. It's low, all right, but it's really cool, and it's not polyphonic. It'll also stack really well for heavy passages and stuff. So if I go over to the dirty channel in the amp, this is one portion in the song with the pitch shifter in there after it goes. Comes into this heavy part where it just starts off with and also because of the way I have everything rooted, you can get big atmospheric sounds like that, and you can still get cut through. So if I go over to the Cosmos Echo instead. So yeah, that's kind of it. I suppose what's interesting in mentioning about this as well, this is one pedal board for one band that I'm in, which is my main band. And also as different songs require, I could just copy this, maybe change the Elephant Man for a different type of delay, change the simple pitch for something else, and just keep copying this pedal board out and changing little things as I need them and get a really consistent sound for any records that I'm recording at home for Kampala. And that sense it works really well. Same principle, I could just set up a completely different pedal board for a different project that I'm doing. In that way, as a kind of single stomp effect solution as part of a pedal board, I think it works really, really well. Even little things like there's enough switches, you know, and the switches are far enough apart. It's very easy to control. It just, working as 6 individual stomp boxes, it just works really well. I really like it. So there you go. I think to sum up that having this combined with analog dirt pedals, and I would also mention that you could run everything in front of the amp and take 2 of those dirt pedals and put them in loops and bring them in and out per preset as you wanted, which would be a really powerful thing to be able to do too. But combined with its amp switching, its ability to bring a dirt box or 2 dirt boxes combined with amp switching and a 4-cable method with your amp means that as part of a pedal board and as a sort of master controller for your entire rig, you could also, get Strymon pedals and put them on that board and control them with MIDI as well. It's a really, really powerful piece of kit. I think obviously this unit is competing with the MS3 by Boss a lot. I kind of think for pedalboard live usage, the MS3 would win out for me because of its size. But I think that for home recording where you just want 6 stomp switches for projects, I just think it's a brilliant piece of kit, and the quality of the effects for home recording is really, to be honest, quite far beyond the Boss MS3. The quality of effects is really impressive as the more deeper you get into it, and the editing software as well. As I hated it actually when I got it at first, but I'm really get it now and I really enjoy it. So I think if you want to build a pedal board that has every available effect you can think of at your fingertips, this is a really good way to go. So thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon for the next video. Take it easy.